Okay. Uh,
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting for Vernon Township Municipal Utility Authority. I'd like to first of all call to order this regular meeting on the Vernon Township Municipal Utility Authority, June 16th, 2022, will now be convened. Statement of compliance pursuant of the Open Public Meeting Act. Adequate notice of this regular meeting was provided to the public and the press on December 27th, 2021. By delivering to the press such notices and posting same at the municipal building, filed with the office of the MUA, as well as posted on the website. Can we all rise and salute the flag? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's take a roll call of members and professionals. Jackie? if you-
Okay. Sure. Paul Carney is absent tonight. Andrew Pittsger,
Present?
Dave McDermott,
Present.
Kristen Wheaton is absent. Ed Snook,
Present.
Ed DeYoung,
Present.
Mark Bauer.
Present. Okay,
For professionals, we have John Albright, administrator and CEO, Rich Wenner, attorney, Rob McNitch, the auditor, and myself, Jacqueline McCabe, the recording secretary.
Steve on there.
Oh, and Steve Banowski, the engineer. Sorry, Steve.
No problem.
welcome, everybody. Let's get started. First of all, I'd like to motion to open the public, motion to open the meeting to the public for agenda items only. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mark and second.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Make your choice.
Okay,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Right now, I don't have anyone raising their hands and no one in the audience raising.
Okay. Motion to close the meeting to the public for agenda items only.
So moved.
A second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Let's go on to item number 6, approval of the bills for resolution 22-30. Motion to approve the bills, or is there any discussions that are required?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Second,
I'll second that.
Andrew Pittsger,
yes.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Edward Snook,
Yes.
Ed DeYoung,
Yes.
Mark Bauer.
Am I voting tonight as an alternate?
You are, Mark, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, going to item 7, approval of the meeting minutes for 4/21/22, which were tabled from 5/19/22. Do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from 4/21/22?
So moved.
I'll
Motion by
second.
Mark Bauer, second by,
Dave McDermott.
Okay, Andrew Pittsger,
yes?
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Edward Snook,
Yes.
Ed DeYoung,
I was absent from that meeting, so I'll abstain.
and Mark Bauer.
I need to.
Oh,
Need to go back on this. So Mark Bauer cannot motion to do to approve the
wasn't
minutes because he
at that
wasn't
meeting.
present here.
right, so abstain.
Well, he actually motioned to approve, so we have to.
Oh, okay.
You can
Procedural.
make the motion.
You can make the motion, Rich?
You can make the motion.
Okay, fine. All right, so we just don't have, just can't vote. All right, very good. All right. Motion to approve the meeting minutes from 5/19/22.
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
You take the vote on,
Yep, Andrew Pittsger,
yes?
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Ed Snook,
Staying.
Ed DeYoung,
Yes.
and Mark Bauer.
Yes.
Resolution number 8, or actually item number 8, resolution 22-31, EDU calculations for 328 Route 94. Any discussions? A motion to put it on the floor? I do have a question on this EDU count. And Rich, let's see, Steve, you're going to have to answer this.
Sure. 328 Route 94, correct?
Yes, sir. I just got to pull the paperwork on it. There is on that resolution in the packet we have, it says here, basically, the title was, it's been changed from 1,100 square feet from an office building to a single-family, two-bedroom residential, and it's in a commercial zone. You have in here on the bottom, the EDU for this property will increase from 0.5 to 1.0, when in fact the resolution calls for 0.8. So I'm a bit confused where the variation is.
Yeah, okay, so there was an updated backup sheet, which I probably issued too late, which, oh, sorry. No, strike that comment. That is an error. It should be 0.5 to 0.8, and we can provide an updated copy of that if necessary.
Okay, very good. So that is 0.8, and even in a commercial area would still be that way, correct?
That's correct.
As a residential.
Correct. Correct.
Any other
That's an error. I
discussions or
apologize.
questions? I'm sorry, Steve, I missed that.
1.0 is just an error. I apologize.
Okay, good. Any other comments or questions regarding this resolution? May I make a motion for somebody to, motion to move forward?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, Jackie,
Andrew Pittsger,
yes?
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Ed Snook,
Yes.
Ed DeYoung,
Yes.
Mark Bauer.
Abstain.
Okay. We have, bear with me one moment, too many pieces of paper and too many agendas. Resolution 22-32, is that still on the docket here? Number 8, okay. We have, you have that crossed off at one point here.
2232, yeah, but if you go down to the next one, it's because we didn't need that one there.
You didn't need that. Okay, 22-32 is there, acceptance of the 2021 audit. An explanation by the administration and engineer.
Auditor.
Auditor, sorry.
I don't know, you want me to do it, or it's on?
Oh, it's on, all right. I'm happy to give just a brief overview. So we did wrap up our audit of the 2021 financial statements of the authority. I'm going to give a few highlights of the financial view and an overview of the audit in general. So typically when we do these audits, and this is true with any government, we're following governmental auditing standards, which means that we're examining 3 areas. We're examining financial side, similar to any other financial audit, the authorities or the government's internal controls, the system of checks and balances, and also compliance with statutes, with IRS code, with regulations. I'm happy to report that this year the authority received a clean, unmodified opinion in all 3 areas. In the financial side, well, for the financial side, we found the books to be in good order. Transactions were recorded correctly as they should, and reconciliations were performed timely. From a financial side, it was a good year for the authority. We were able to stay within budget. We had budgeted in the beginning of the year $2,820,000. On the revenue side, we exceeded that by nearly $50,000. On the expenditure side, we were under budget by about $231,000. So we ended up finishing the year with a budgetary surplus of $281,000. In this, traditionally, this authority has always had a bit of a tight budget, so this is certainly a big win financially in 2021. We also saw an increase in cash. At the end, cash increased by about 173,000 from the prior year. Our net position, or think of that as almost the net worth of the overall authority, which is your assets minus your liabilities. We ended the year $866,820, which was about a $207,000 increase over the prior year net position. Regarding the other areas, internal controls or system of checks and balances, we determined that not only it was appropriately designed for an entity this size, but more importantly, it was working as it should be and documented as working as it should be. In the area of compliance, we noticed no areas of non-compliance. Now, we examine typically statutes and IRS regulations relating to the financials and purchasing. In both cases, our audit work came back showing that the authority was in compliance in those areas. Overall, a very clean year for the authority. I always like to, I want to thank Danelle, Jackie, the entire staff. We do these audits. We're requesting a ton of information. We're looking for it back as quickly as we can get it. And, I'm happy to report that we did receive that. Certainly our appreciation to the MUA office for making certainly our lives a bit easier on that. Now, going forward, resolution on the agenda tonight, which is basically a certification that the board has reviewed the findings in the audit. We had no findings, but we still are required to do this resolution as a matter of compliance with local government services. We submit this resolution along with the audit, and there is an affidavit that each one of you would need to sign in order for the state to accept the audit report, as part of the annual filing. So beyond that, a very good year. Really, barring any questions from the board, I had nothing else to report.
Any comments or questions from the board?
Is there any particular source that we can identify for the unusual amount of receipts this year?
This would have to do with the budgeting. You mean as far as being $50,000 over what we anticipated?
$280,000 or more receipts?
No. That's just net position. That has nothing to do with receipts.
Sorry?
It's just net position. So, and it's not 280, it's about $208,000 that we increased in our net position. So essentially it's a combination of increased revenue, which last year we did not anticipate the connection fees that we received last year. So that would be one of the large chunks that came in. And also it's a combination of that $50,000 or so, and then about $157,000 in amounts that we did not expend out of our budget and expenditures. So that was amount, saved.
You?
Other comments? I mean, some of the cost savings comes also from where we didn't have as many emergency callouts, which we anticipated. The other thing is that our preventive maintenance program is starting to work, and it's in our favor of keeping costs down. Then our labor changes constantly. So that's something to address. So keep that in mind. Is that correct?
And this was the first year where we had our part-time employees full for the full year.
Yeah.
Right.
So we saw some significant improvements there.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, if that's the case,
Appointment alarm.
do I have a motion to approve resolution 22-32 in acceptance of the 2021 audit?
I'll make a motion to accept the audit.
I'll second it.
Andrew Pittsger,
Yes?
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Edward Snook,
Yes.
Ed DeYoung,
Yes.
Mark Bauer.
Abstain.
Okay, moving on to the administrator's report.
Okay, so a couple of things here. First, regarding pump station 2, We've had a couple productive meetings. We're meeting every 2 weeks now with the DEP on Pump Station 2. They recently finalized approving the environmental planning document, which is what we were waiting like 6 months for approval for. So that's a positive thing. We're just, kind of tying things up with them now. So hopefully we will be completely approved, I would hope, in July at some point. And then we'd be able to go out to bid, say a month or so later, and award the bids. And then we should be able to move forward on that rather quickly, hopefully. Let's see, the sewer service area mapping. So that's another thing that we're kind of finalizing with DEP. We haven't been able to firm up a meeting with them this past month. So we're meeting on the 29th. For a lot of people that were on vacation, out sick. So we'll be meeting with them. He did notify us that they met with the staff, just one staff member that handles the threatened and endangered species. And they should be able to move forward with some of the areas that we were kind of not agreeing on. So that's positive. The transfer station, I did reach out to Steve about, I know that Dewberry is going to be working on putting together that draft that the board requested on what needs to be done to really move forward on the transfer station. So that's in the works. The capital items are obviously included in there. We're still waiting on updated information from the vendor who would be upgrading pump station 3, the building there. Finally, the MUA website, and this was not included in my report. So the MUA website, the township website, the technology behind both of those websites is quite antiquated. And the individual who was maintaining those websites is retiring. She's no longer going to be doing those for the township and the MUA. So the township had reached out to somebody, which, as you know, hopefully, that the township website was entirely redone and moved on to a different platform with obviously updated technology. So that's a positive thing for the township. Unfortunately, the MUA's website, the technology and the coding was so old that it's not easy to migrate over. So what would have to happen with our website we would have to pay for an entirely new website to be done from start to finish. So in looking at what is currently being done on the township website, everything for maintenance is pretty much being done in-house for the township. So right now there is the authority has its own page, which kind of directs to the MUA website. And I would love to get the board's feedback. I think a great idea would be to just use that page as our MUA site. It would reduce our costs. I mean, you're not talking about a lot of costs for annual hosting or, domain names, right? But you are talking about a large expense to redo an entire website from start to finish. So I think the current township website works fantastically, right? We're just starting, we're getting some of the bugs fixed, and we're maintaining portions of it ourselves, which we can do in-house. So we wouldn't even have to pay an outside vendor to maintain the website moving forward. We've already kind of put some things in there on directing people to pay online. We've put our agenda for this meeting up there. They have a township calendar. And in our experience, we found that people that are looking for the MUA website, they go to the township website anyway, and then they call us and say, how do we find your information? And then we have to tell them a different website. So I think it's just a good place. It's one place to direct people to, and it's, it'll save the MUA money, and that's what we're trying to do, make it good for the ratepayer. So that would be my recommendation. If anyone has any comments or anything in not going that direction.
I like the idea. I don't see any point in make something new when we can use the pages there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we'll start moving forward on that. We're just going to migrate ourselves and just create, PDFs of the existing minutes, because there are a lot of minutes and resolutions and stuff on that site. So we'll make those available through the township one then.
And I
Great.
guess Jackie is able to add all this material.
Yes, sure am.
You've been trained on this.
Yep.
So that means it's more efficient. We keep it in-house and we don't have to wait for updates. We see some.
Yeah, it's done 1, 2, 3. We don't have to wait. We don't have to worry about if someone's on vacation or anything. So it's good.
It almost sounds like a shared service.
Sort of.
Sort of.
And what did you estimate the cost savings to be that we went to go this way versus our own website?
I know the migration for the township was thousands, so I'm saving at least that.
Okay.
And that's it. That's it for my report. Howie didn't have anything significant for the licensed operator report. But if anyone had questions, I can let him know and he can get back to you.
Going back to the capital items.
Yes.
Sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I've got an issue with pump station 3, the building rehabilitation.
Yep.
We've been sitting on this waiting for what until updated.
So what happened was our vendor, there are certain requirements for vendors if they're doing specific types of work in New Jersey, and they need to have a certification from the state. He applied for the certification, but they rejected him. And I believe the reason that he explained the reason they rejected him was there was a specific question that he needed, I guess, was not answered correctly or something. So he's working it out with the state. And we hope to have that information. I mean, his was a significant cost difference between the next highest bidder, and also it's been very difficult to get people to even give quotes on things.
So we're still working on that.
Yeah.
Then the next question I have, is this the right area to put the lift station upgrade concept, or should that be something where we look at it for future?
We can put it here. I have not reached out on specific costs for the lift station upgrades. But it's something we can put on here, and I can just make some notes saying looking for costs. I mean, those costs are gonna be high, so we're probably not much of it for them.
Right, but I just figured this, we need someplace to trap everything, and this is a great spot.
Yeah, we can put it on there. Yeah.
And you just, there's no report for the license operator?
There's nothing of issue, I would say, I guess, to report. I mean, things are going well. You know, the guys are keeping up with maintaining the system, which is obviously important. If they have call outs, obviously they're reaching out. We did have a recent call out, which was not, it was not our issue. It was their line, because they're our lines, but it was on the user end, not on our end. Oh, well.
All right, number 11, on the Steve Banowski, engineers report.
Good evening, everyone. I guess I won't spend too much time repeating anything Donnell went over with regards to pump station 2. We expect to, you know, as Donnell said, we've made progress with the DEP and iBank in the last couple of weeks. A lot of, you know, good progress in the last couple of weeks. We expect to be able to go out to bid for that in July. Donnell spoke to the sewer service area mapping and the transfer station. The EDU modification for 328 Route 94 was on the agenda for tonight, so we reviewed that. We also reviewed a sewer service allocation EDU calculation for a tenant in the Acme Plaza, but even though there's a change in use for that tenant, it does not result in a change in EDU, because it falls under the same EDU category, and you know the footage isn't being changed there. So the other two things I'll mention is last Friday we did a I'll call it a site walk inspection of the pump station 2 force main. Nothing out of the ordinary was observed there, but we'll provide a memorandum on that just to document what was or was not observed. And on June 2nd, we also revisited the pump station #1 easement ditch, and we owe a list of follow-up actions on that. That's all I have, Andy.
Any questions from the commissioners? Steve, the project outline on the back, project schedule for pump house 2 has been updated.
Yes, that should be reflective of getting through DEP and iBank by the end of the month.
So will they get a copy of this, or have they got a copy now?
No, we've been having troubles with their, well, I guess I can provide it via email. We've been having some trouble with their website, but we hope to, I think we figured out what the issue was, so we can provide that.
Okay, because we did promise them that we would give
Yep.
them a copy. So this way they know what our timeline is and we don't get stuck
Yep.
behind the 8 ball.
We'll certainly share that before this coming Tuesday's meeting, so that can be up for discussion if needed.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. All right, now item number 12, work session. This happens to deal with the project charters that we have updated. All of you should have a copy of it. And we have actually extended another charter on here based on our discussions about the metering EDU system. I just want to quickly go through each one of them and make sure we have the right people assigned and any quick discussions on where this should go. But one of the things to remember about the purpose of each of these committees and charters is that we take these charters and we go back, we review, update, and implement the committee's charters. Each committee will report to the entire MUA. Typically, we do it quarterly, but as you can see, Janelle, during her administration report, also updates us on activity of each of those charters. If information is required by the committees, it will be directed to the professional staff and the administrator will follow up. By Tuesday, after any regular meeting, the administrator will gather and pertinent information provided to the committee as is necessary. This will allow for each committee to review and provide recommendations to the entire VTMUA, as well as directions for follow-up by the administrative staff. Each meeting, the committee will present findings to the entire VTMUA board of commissioners. That's on the last page at the back, just so everybody understands the purpose of these charters and how we work. I know we have a lot of new people on board, so we started doing this as a way to keep projects in focus. This is why we're getting sewer service area mapping done. It's taken 2 years at least for this group. The same thing with the pump station. So it does help to keep things focused. So going back to the first committee we have is number 1 is the transfer station pump station upgrade committee. Right now I have it updated as Paul Carney and Dave McDermott. Is that still valid?
Yes.
Hopefully, as you heard Danelle, she updated a little bit on the transfer station. And then the next one is the sewer service area, which is also Paul Carney and Ed DeYoung.
Yep.
All right. I know Danelle has updated you and you've been communicating with her. So any other input you want to bring to that?
No.
Number 3 is solid waste septic collection system. This was a new one we added or changed, I think, Danelle, isn't that correct?
Yes, the septic collection was not originally part of that.
Okay. Currently, we have Chris Wheaton on this, and we need another member to join this because typically we have 2. Is there anybody who would like to actually be added to this?
What is the solid waste that this is contemplated?
What basically, if you look at this, is the solid waste services and septic collection is looking at what could we do with the town and the people who have septic systems on helping them do the collections, and then maybe with our transfer station, be able to work with that. That's something that's being defined by Chris Wheaton, somebody else. Well, this is a member to join.
Well, and the solid waste portion was also like garbage.
Garbage too, you're right. I forgot about that.
That's what I was thinking. Are we going into the garbage collection business?
That's for the committee to explore.
Is it even possible, given the restrictions on our formation?
You have to have an amendment to the organizational structure of the MUA. Right now, yes,
So that would.
that would be done with the same process through the township council. Solid waste utility or authority situation. Correct.
Good. Thanks, Rich.
A lifetime.
All right, so does anybody else want to join the solid waste commission, or shall we leave it like it is and maybe see if we can get somebody from council?
Council.
Maybe, since there was a passion at one time that they wanted to do it.
Back in time and check how many times they checked on doing solid waste in this town, you'd have a set of books bigger than the Encyclopedia Britannica.
That's true. Well, Chris
I
wanted,
did several reports when I was in charge.
I think the idea,
Solid
I think
waste.
the idea is not to have us collect.
no,
Franklin collected their own garbage.
Yeah, that's not what we were.
Franklin decided we should go contract. The first 3 years, they saved so much money. They all sat back and said, look what we saved. When the new contracts came out, they couldn't afford to buy the trucks and hire the men, but they were paying twice what the first contract was. Now it seems to be working with solid waste. I wouldn't mess with it.
Chris, continue to look at that and evaluate it. So I agree with you. I mean, there's been discussions about, writing a contract with some of these handlers and going like, Chris, this is your bailiwick, not mine. Okay, we'll leave that one on Chris's desk. And let her continue with it. Bylaws, personnel committees, members are myself and Dave McDermott. I'm happy to stay on, Dave.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Okay. Then we have the water supply subcommittee, which has been passed over to the town. Should we take this off there or should we just keep it on as a note for us to follow up on?
Township project, I wouldn't keep it on.
Okay, so maybe we could pull that one off. All right, we'll pull that one off.
There's an error on the next one on the finance.
On the finance committee, the MUA members is supposed to be myself and Mark, Ed DeYoung. Sorry about that. And then the new charter is for evaluating changing to meter systems. I'm sorry, is there any comments regarding finance?
No. Got to meet.
We have our meetings. We look at-
Donnell briefed us on the audit and it was fun.
Good. And also all of the other things that we're going through. All right, and item number 7 is a new charter. Our newest member, Mark Bauer, has shown a lot of passion for this, and we discussed it. Our customers were here to utilize their thoughts and opinions, and I think it's very important that we explore this, and that's the idea behind the charter, is to look at all sides of it. So this charter for evaluating changing to a meter system versus current EDU system, or a combination of both systems running concurrently, all in question. So we talk about MUA members here. Mark, you mentioned you'd like to be on this committee. I would. Okay. And I know I talked to Paul Carney, and he said he would be happy to oblige in this area. On the professional members, I think we do need somebody to be there to kind of guide the way. I know there's been a lot of legalities. Rich, is this something you could help us with?
Sure. Yeah, be happy to.
All right, so could I put you on this charter with?
Do we get lunch at these meetings?
Sure.
I'm buying. You beat me to that.
That's what the CFO says.
No, I'm just joking. Of course, I'd be happy to.
What I'd like to do is I outlined a few things on this charter and it needs to be refined, but I tried to listen to what everybody had to say, talked a lot with you, Mark, about this and said, let's take all this stuff and you've already started pouring through data, sharing it with Donnell and with the Rich. So that's probably the best way to start with it. And I do appreciate your energy and enthusiasm in taking this forward with us. Okay? Any comments? Okay, so that charter is okay with everybody to add? Any other discussions on the work center during this work session that we'd like to go over? I don't hear anything for right now. Let's move on to opening for the public for items that are not on the agenda. I have a motion to open the meeting to the public for items that are not on the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Mark Bauer, second by
I'll second it.
Dave, seconded by Dave McDermott. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
You're open to the public.
Okay, I have Jessica Palladini.
Hi, hello. I just want to say that I think it's time already, 10 years, that you go to metering sewers. It's the only fair and equitable way. There are people with EDUs who only have one person in the house. And there are also those who have 7 or 8. I think it's time that you explore meters in the sewers. I also want to ask, why is a single family residence only 0.8 EDUs? Shouldn't it be 1.0?
I can answer that. It's a 2-bedroom house.
Oh, okay, it's 2-bedroom,
Yes,
bedroom.
2 bedrooms. That's correct.
Okay, no problem, thank you.
Thank you, Jesse.
And that is all I have.
Is that all, Jackie?
Yes.
All right. Since there's no other people on the public looking to comment, motion to close the meeting to the public for items not on the agenda.
Motion to close.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's move on to commissioners' comments. Start. Dave, how about I take you first?
Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm looking forward to working in the bylaws committee with Andy. I think that there's some updating there and I think that there's a possibility that we could work something out for the veterans who are disabled and happen to live in our sewer service area, in the service area. And that's what I would like to come to some kind of, I guess the best way to put it is remedy for the people that are on disability. And if they're senior citizens, as long as we can fit it into what are the statutory limitations are, that's where I would like to see that happen. That's it for me.
Very good. Mark?
I hope that I can speak informally with our attorney after this meeting, if you can give me a few minutes
Sure.
of your time, and that'll help me to get my thoughts organized.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Our charter. Thank you.
I'm happy you're gonna look at meters. We tried that before. I think it's gonna be a better system because everybody has an even playing field. But when you have a budget, and you have to divide it up by the gallon. They may be surprised what their bills are gonna be anyway.
I superficially calculated 69 cents a gallon. It's a huge number, but it's a simple calculation. Just took the number of gallons per year, the revenue that we receive from operating receipts, divide the two together, and comes out to about 69 cents.
Better than gas.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
It's a crazy number.
Big number.
Yeah, it's, people's gonna look at it when you're done and say, still think we're doing something.
Yeah.
That's not above board.
Right.
You're trapped by the numbers,
That's why we're going to explore it.
right? It's good.
When you researched, did you come up with any numbers about how much it would cost to switch everybody over to meters?
I have not,
Okay.
and I don't know. However, it's my understanding that almost all of the buildings in Vernon are metered. Nobody gets their water for free unless they happen to have a private well. So we're overwhelmingly metered as it is. We just don't have sewer meters. We have water in meters,
Yeah, sure.
but we are metered.
Yeah.
And the great bulk of our base is metered.
Does anybody know the
I
percentage?
think what I can do is I can share, there were a couple emails going around, and I will share them to the board. I just request that you not communicate in those,
Yes.
right? Just so that you have it, because there's some information that was sent.
Anything else, Ed?
Nope, I'm done.
Mr. Dio?
Hi, the only thing, we had our finance meeting the other day.
Mhm.
And I did bring up that one change in use facility that you were gonna go look into over at the golf course.
Change in use facility. I don't-
Pro shop.
Pro shop.
Okay.
I know you're not gonna do it right away, but I mean,
I think I wrote a note down for that now that I'm thinking about it.
I'm not looking for it to be solved today, but I just keep that on the blotter someplace. That's all.
Okay. First of all, Rob, I'd like to thank you for being tenacious, getting all the information together. And I mean, Ed and I sat with Val and we went through this. And so it's good that we stay on point, but it's also important that we continue to stay on point for the future. How we budget, how we bill, and it's going to get more critical as we get into these loans and things in the future. So hopefully we can handle that. Also, I'd like to thank the DEP team spearheaded by Karen Cole for giving us the guidance for this iBank process. It was getting, for Pump Station 2, it was getting to the point where we thought we were going to lose it mentally, just because we have done all the work for Pump Station 2, did all the applications, and we waited and we, waited for the DEP to do the things. COVID hit. It's just been a turmoil, and Danelle, you've stuck with it. And between you and Karen Cole, getting this thing done was getting there now. We got a project timeline. The DEP people came up with some solutions that basically saved their bacon.
It was so Dave Zimmer with iBank, but yes.
Dave Zimmerman from the iBank. So, but this wouldn't have happened unless we got this whole team together, working with them every other Tuesday, having meetings and doing that. So hats off to you and the team as well from DEP. It's communication. It really was in collaboration because they went back and they figured a way to help us. So that's basically all my comments for today. Thank you. Great. With that, motion to close, adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second it.
Meeting is now closed.
Good job, Andy.